The award-winning A Black Executive Perspective podcast presents BEP Live, hosted by Chris P. Reed and TonyTidbit, where uncomfortable conversations take center stage. So, let's go there. What uncomfortable conversation are we having tonight?
All right, hey. Here we are, coming to you live every Tuesday at our new time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Welcome to A Black Executive Perspective Live, BEP Live, on a Black Executive Perspective Network. I'm your host, Chris P. Reed.
And I'm TonyTidbit. We're here to cut through the noise, get straight to what matters: power, politics, culture, leadership, and the moments that shape our lives right now. No filters, no safe takes, just honest dialogue and real accountability. So, my brother, what's on the menu for tonight?
All right, tonight we're discussing one of the most controversial weapons in American politics. This is voter restrictions and the fight over the control for political power in America. Something as old as the country even. Because depending on who you ask, some people call it constitutional strategies, others call it legalized voter suppression. Some call it political survival, and others call it modern day Jim Crow. That's what you call it. We'll get into that. But we're here, and this uncomfortable reality that we live in, every political party suddenly becomes very interested in fairness once they lose control of these maps. So tonight we're going to be asking the questions. Are politicians choosing voters, or are voters choosing our politicians? Because that's how we thought it was supposed to be. So we're going to get into that, you know what I mean, and break it all down.
Yeah, buddy. And look, at the end of the day, there's a lot to it. There are always a lot of nuances that we have to dive through. Sometimes it's not just cut and dry. So we want you guys to also help us have this conversation. So definitely, as you always do, provide your comments. We're going to have you be a part of the show. Throw down, let us know what you thought. We'll put your comments on the screen. We'll bring you in. But Chris and I just don't want to have this conversation by ourselves. This is something that it's a big conversation. So it's a conversation that we all should have.
Absolutely. And I think this is a comfortable, safe space, like you say. It's a safe space for us to unpack and get all our feelings out there, because this is somewhat new in the way that it's being approached. But I don't think it's something that we should just think will go away quietly. It's something we're going to have to put a line in the sand and fight for. So we'll get into it. Now, here's the moment where all of you future sponsors could be highlighted to reach our 250,000 subscribers. So I recommend that you get with us and get on board early before we really start feeling ourselves. So, all right, we're going to get into it now, though. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk to you about, Tone, and then obviously y'all can jump in as you see fit. All right, so let me get into this. Is it rigged? So the situation there, let's start with the side of the debate that says democracy itself is being manipulated. So do you believe that some of the things that's going on now as it relates to drawing these lines and putting people in certain situations from a political perspective for the advantage of some is dirty pool?
Well, look, let's be fair. Gerrymandering has always been part of the political game. So this is nothing new, right? Both sides have done gerrymandering when they're in power. Okay, that's just a fact, right? What makes this, and again, it makes it different for me, okay? Because this is based on, and you know, sometimes they said the other ones were based on race, right? But this is specifically based on race, okay?
Okay.
And so this is the thing. You know, at the end of the day, well, let's dive in, because let's talk about Louisiana, okay? And the reason I say it's based on race, okay? So the state of Louisiana's population, what's the percentage of black people in the state of Louisiana? Do you know?
Got to be 60?
No. It's 33%. So they're a third of the state population.
Okay.
Right? Which
That's
is
pretty
high.
good for Louisiana. Yeah.
I mean, so think about that. New York ain't, you know, they don't have a population of black people that high in New York or Michigan or anything like that. So it's real high. I think the South has some of the states, you know, I could be wrong, North Carolina, South Carolina, whatever. Those populations, Mississippi, I think Mississippi, maybe even be higher, right?
It is. Oh, it is.
Okay. So that's, you know, but all that being said, a third of the residents are black. All right. So typically they should have a stronger, not only say voting power, but stronger representation for that community. Okay. And so now what they've done is they redrew the lines. All right. And let's be fair. They voted in, the courts allowed them to do another second district. Okay. A second black district. Right. That got overturned by the Supreme Court because they were saying that it was based on race. And nothing in the United States should be based on race. That's what they say. I mean, it's amazing they even say that, because at the same time, when they supported the immigration thing, right, which is based on what? Race.
Race, right.
Hey, all right, that was okay. Right. But here it's not. So the reason this is important, because, and this is just another piece of it, is because of the Voting Rights Act that was, enacted in 1964. So they're really gutting that, right? So they can control power, right? So yes, there's been gerrymandering before, okay, from both sides. But this is a little bit, in my opinion, and I want to hear from the crew, I want to hear from the people, they're going a little bit too far. I'm not even saying they're going too far. They're doing it on purpose so they can dilute the power of the vote when it comes to people of color, and then limit their representation. Okay? And I think we have a clip that we're going to play a little later that's going to speak a little bit to that. Okay? In terms of the percentage of representation that we got to, and now they're trying to go backwards.
So let's do this, because everybody, and I know just up until recently, I didn't understand the dynamics of gerrymandering. So we do got a short one just to give people a refresher on what gerrymandering is, how it got started, and why it's a constitutional right in these United States of America in order to do so. So hit them with that clip.
Hold on, buddy. So before we even go there, see, because you're using words as a constitutional right. It's not a it's based on the census. Okay? That's what it's based on, right? The census changes in terms of people moving in, stuff of that nature, right? And then they redraw stuff, right?
Redraw it, that's correct.
Okay. But there's not a constitutional, but look, I don't want to start fighting already. Right?
Got the gloves off, chomping at the bit.
Yeah. Let's show the people, right? And then we'll go from there. All right?
Cool.
Oh, hold on one second. There we go.
When you look at this picture, what do you see? A disoriented seahorse? A ghost woman? A boomerang? This is actually Massachusetts' 7th Congressional District. And these are some other creatures. Districts. Congressional districts are geographic voting areas represented by a single member of Congress. Gerrymandering happens when a political party in charge carefully slices up voting districts so that the representatives they want to win. They do this by drawing the districts around the populations most likely to support them, or splitting up populations less likely to support them, making this outline of a stegosaurus. The practice is named for Massachusetts politician and founding father you've likely never heard of, Elbridge Gerry. Yes, it's pronounced Gary. Elected to the Continental Congress in 1775, Gerry signed the Declaration of Independence. He was also very involved in shaping the Constitution, but he didn't sign that, because as an anti-federalist, he opposed a stronger federal government, believing the Constitution got the balance of power all wrong. Gerry thought the federal government had way too much of it. Gerry eventually joined the Democratic-Republican Party. Yes, that was a real thing. In 1810, at age 65, Gerry was elected governor of Massachusetts. Around this time, the United States was edging toward war with Great Britain. Concerned that Federalists might betray the country, Gerry's party decided to find ways to replace every possible Federalist in office with a Democratic-Republican. This included changing Massachusetts districts from reflecting county lines to ones benefiting the Democratic Republicans. In the grand tradition of political satire, an illustrator drew a picture of one of Gerry's new districts, depicting it as a monster that supposedly looked like a salamander. No, a gerrymander. The drawing ran in the Boston Gazette on March 26, 1812. From that year onward, Elbridge Gerry would be known not for signing the Declaration of Independence or helping to frame the Constitution, or for being the 5th Vice President of the United States. Yeah, he did that too. Gerry would instead be known for the controversial redistricting practice that bears his name, even though we now pronounce it gerrymandering.
All right. So, Tone, 224 years in the making. What's your problem now?
Buddy, you fix the screen again? Because I only can see the...
Oh, yeah, I got you, cuz. I got you. Man, no problem. It's a team effort.
So when you asked my question, you said, what's my problem?
Yes. 224 years in the making. This thing been going on for 224 years.
Buddy, so stop for a second. Did you watch the same clip I watched?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the clip I watched is that he changed it for what reasons?
To put his people in.
To put his people in, right? Yeah. Now, you can say they're trying to do that too, but this is also about race. Okay. See, it's a big difference. It's a huge difference. Okay. And so that's the issue. Both sides have always done it. Okay. But my point I'm trying to make is that this is gutting the Civil Right, the Voting Act. Okay. That was passed in 1964. Okay, so it's watering it down, and here's the thing, bro. See, this is where, and I'm getting a sense you like, oh, you know, this is going on. Let's be clear here. Let's talk about Black history, okay? And you know this, so this is my point I'm making, and most people don't. And I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just trying to say most people don't know their history. So what happened in Wilmington, North Carolina, in 1898?
It was a coup. The first coup.
It was a coup. Wait a minute, stop there. How many people was voting in Wilmington? Black people in 1898 in the popular. How many people were voters? It was 90,000. Yeah. 90,000, right?
Yep.
And then after the coup, and when they came up with the White Declaration of Independence, what did they say? That no other black person will ever be represented again. So when did the next black person become a representative in North Carolina from a political standpoint? What year was that?
No,
it wasn't the 70s. When was that? Keep going.
Oh, it was 90s?
It was in the 90s. Okay, and almost 100 years.
100 years, yeah, it was 100 years.
You had one person of color, a black person, represent the state of North Carolina.
Right.
Okay, so this is my point here. Okay, so this ain't all both sides or constitutional right. They did this to eliminate the ability of black people being able to be a part of Congress, to eliminate the representation. Okay, period, the end. Okay, so that's what I look at this as. Okay. Period, the end. That's me. All right, because we've seen these movies before. Okay, and then they always cloaked under, both sides do that, or this and that, when this is a diabolical, see, buddy, and here's the thing, it's not just one thing that you can say is an anomaly. There's a million other things that's also happening or has happened that substantiate what I'm talking about. The DEI stuff, we can go on and on and on. Okay, we can go on and on and on, right? So all that shit wasn't luck, or that wasn't happenstance. These are strategies to remake America. That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay? Right. So you can't just look at one thing and say it's a one-off. All these things happening on top of one another. Okay? That's the issue. That's my issue. I love to hear from the audience what you guys think.
Yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think, because my point of view on this is, because it's been done and because it's not being done by surprise, I don't see why the vitriol and the outlandish, approach to, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, or I am so offended that this is happening, when this is how it's been. This is how it's been. This is what goes on in these United States.
So, Chris, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. And this might be a little drastic, okay? Okay. So, lynching used to go on, too, for hundreds of years, right? So, if you saw somebody, so hold on, I'm going by your rationale.
Correct.
So, if somebody was, we seeing nooses, there was a big thing when nooses was showing up, was it Amazon or what it was some company, right? And the warehouses all over, right?
Yeah.
What the hell? So, I can use that same argument, right? What y'all talking about? It's been going on for years. Okay,
and then
why is it all this vitriol? No, buddy, I'm just trying to tell you the reason it is just not just this one thing. There's multiple things happening at the same time. That's part of the strategy to eliminate. You can't say you understand. If you asking that, if you coming with that point of view,
I understand, but I don't agree, Tone. Because if it was not in the best interest of the Commonwealth, just like lynching, they would have outlawed it. You can't legally lynch people anymore. You can legally change these lines to say whatever you want to say.
I'm calling this dude Steve. You get me so mad. I'm calling you different names and shit.
you see an old bully. See
again, you saying what's legal. Chris, stop, man. Stop. We can always point to anything that say, oh, this is legal and this and that and this and that. Okay, so that argument doesn't hold water. Okay, the bottom line is there's a bigger issue. It's a strategy to eliminate Black people's rights, people of color's rights, and to make this a country where white supremacy continues to rule. And this didn't happen 5 years ago. This didn't happen 8 years ago. See, here's the point, my brother. See, you keep talking about this been going on. So in 1990, they were talking DEI. Was they doing that? 1990. Oh, so wait a minute. What are you talking about? Okay, we can go in 1990. Did they overturn Roe versus Wade? No. Okay, I can go on and on and on. So stop with this, man. This is how it's always been going on, and this and that, and the whole 9 yards. Okay, this is a strategy. All right. In 1990, did they have a Doge? Okay. In 1990, was they eliminating any names in the federal government that had anything to do with people of color or what gets me? Were they doing that?
No.
Okay, but they could always do it, right?
Right.
So what are you talking about? See, this is my point. What are you talking about? All right, this is under a certain administration. Excuse me, not certain. This administration. Okay, let's be fair. That's doing this on purpose because they're trying to remake the American way. That's it. And because they got people out with pitchforks and brooms and shit and saying that people of color are taking over the country and we can't have that. They're doing it from an immigration standpoint. They're doing it where Black people got too much power. They got too much voice. Matter of fact, they're giving them jobs. They're not even qualified for them. They're doing this. That's all. So that everything that's happening is based on that. Okay, so don't sit here and tell me that this is something that's constitutional. You sound like them. All right, that's what they go to. That's what they go to. And they were stupid, all right? And trying to hide behind that, right? That ain't it, bruh. It's a strategy that they're using the law to do. Period.
Correct.
That's my point.
Correct. But this doesn't meet the standard of corruption. You making it seem like this is a corrupt, immoral practice, and it doesn't meet that standard. This is allowed. This is within the line.
Well, wait a minute. So why doesn't it meet the standard of corruption?
Because it's allowed. Because there's nobody had to.
Okay.
So you brought up Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade had to be overturned. Nothing has to be overturned or approved here, Tone. This is the way it is. There's no special session that has to be had for this stuff to occur. They could just go do this. They can draw these lines and box you out.
So here, who we got here? We got Sal. What's up, Sally?
Okay, what's up, Sal?
Let's put Sal up on the screen, right?
Okay.
Sal says, cracking. Map makers intentionally spread a minority population across multiple districts so that they do not make up a large enough percentage to win anywhere. Exactly. That's what we're talking about, right? And so at the end of the day, Chris's point is, what are you talking about? They can do this. This is part of the law. They can do whatever. That doesn't. So Chris, let's turn this around a little bit. If that's the case, then tell me the white districts that they're carving up and pushing up. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Right,
Stop for a second.
right,
Stop.
right.
Tell me the white districts that they're carving up and moving those districts with Black people.
Right.
Okay.
They're not doing it.
What are you talking about?
They're not doing it. They're not doing it.
Okay. But to your point, they could. So stop. Stop, man. Stop.
it's not
Okay?
advantageous for them to. That's in their own self-interest if they do that.
Bruh, no shit.
Yeah.
Bruh, tell me something we don't know. That's what we're talking about. Okay? That's what we're talking about. Okay? Look, bruh, you can sell that shit to somebody else. You can't sell it to me. Who we got? We got my man, who is this? Shande Parde. Oh, bullies, two different perspectives, great conversation. Why we gotta be bullies and shit though, right? I gotta be.
Ain't he trying to bully? Ain't he trying to bully the American system?
I'm not trying to bully
the American
I'm just
system.
calling out the facts. I'm just telling you what time it is, and that it's a strategy, and this is not some anomaly, okay? That they just carved up, some place out in Alaska where there was a moose and a bear and two people.
Right.
Okay, stop. This was on. Why Louisiana? Why not Idaho? Okay, I just told you it's 33% black.
Right.
Okay, bro, stop.
Right.
Look. Again, I that's my take. That's my take.
Regardless of how they carve this up. So they carving it up with the impression that they will set it up to where their voters are more likely to vote their people in. Yeah. But the fact is, somebody got to vote for them. So
no, that doesn't mean they're going to win. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not saying that. People still got to go vote. Okay. Yep. They still got to vote. But what they're doing, and look, I get it. It's a political game. They're trying to hedge their bets, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll redraw it, and then we at least have an advantage. If everybody goes and votes, we'll probably win. Okay. So I get it, but I'm telling you. All right, this ain't just because they have the law it's in the law. They're doing this on purpose because their strategy is to eliminate people of color's power. That's a fact. Okay, this ain't this ain't West Virginia. All right, and I'm not picking on West Virginia, but West Virginia is what, 98% white, right? You hear them carving that up.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They are. Right. I'm asking a question.
No, they're not. No, they're not carving that up.
Carving that up.
No.
Okay.
No,
why?
They're not.
Why not? Why not?
They're not.
Oh, okay. So
because they got what they need there.
No,
they got what they need there. They got their base.
Ain't no black people there. Okay.
That's
why would they carve that up? That's right. All right. So you can't sit here and tell me that race ain't got nothing to do with this.
Tone, black people only represent 13% total of the whole population. So either my math is askew.
So Steve,
or you making a mountain out of a molehill.
So here's the thing, though, bro. All right, so let's use your math. Let's use your math. All right, and that's an excellent point, right? Mm-hmm. Only 13% of the population, right? So let's be fair. The other 87, they don't need. If the other 87% go, why would they mess with the 13? You see my point here? Right. If the 13 wasn't that powerful, why are you messing with it?
Right.
I'm asking you.
Like you said, they hedging their bets. They secure in their position. They fortifying. They fortifying their position.
Why?
They fortifying their position.
You got 87%. So I don't understand. I'm going by what you're saying. Right?
Because I
hold
think
on for a second. If I got 87%, okay, let's just think as businessmen. Okay, I own 87% of the market of the United States. And so, and you got 13, or you got 87, I got 13.
Yep.
Okay. And there's no way, unless even if I stumble, even if I start going, start making my product a little bit different, there's no way that you're going to overtake me. There's no way. Okay. So why would you worry about my 13%? If anything, you might try to buy me out, all right? But you don't even want to do that because it's not constitutional to have what? What do they call it?
Monopoly.
A monopoly, right? So you leave me alone, all right? Because you got to have some type of competition, right?
Right.
So why would you focus on the 13 if it wasn't about something?
Right. Because I want to remove all doubt. I want to remove all doubt, Tone, because I think, unfortunately, now let's see. Remove all doubt. So Sal said map makers group as many minority voters in it's possible into a few concentrated districts, thereby limiting their influence in surrounding areas. Look, I think we're simplifying this. And we can go to what the brother was saying, Tone, because I know that was something that brought you to this apex. But I do believe that we are understating the concept that ignorantly points to the fact that black folks is Democrats and white folks is Republicans. Just because you're separating something by race doesn't mean that you're going to have an outcome just based on that. It's just not that simple. It's not that simple, Tone.
Okay, buddy. So listen, we know black people are not a monolith. Okay.
Okay.
So I get that.
Okay. Nor white
However,
people.
But hold on. But we know that the majority of them do vote Democrat, right? Okay. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So again, why would you draw it up? Let's just go by your first statement. If that's the case, why you need to draw it up? Why you need to, redraw it, if that's the case? So I'm asking questions. All right.
I'm trying to think
through
it.
If I'm going by your logic, why would I need to? Because to your point, doesn't mean what difference does it make? We don't have to touch anything because at the end of the day, not everybody's not a monolith, and that doesn't mean this and that. So why redraw it? Why redraw it?
Yeah, I think in these instances, people do things because they can to create this fear and anxiety in your people.
So see again though, buddy. So here's the thing. So this ain't creating this. See, bro. See, that's why some people, to be fair, follow this dude because of that type of logic, right? Oh, they just screaming and hollering. They ain't talking about nothing because they don't know nothing, right? They don't know nothing. And right while they're sitting here smiling and tap dancing, their rights are being eroded right in front of their face. Right? And then one day they're going to wake up, if they wake up, or their kids are going to wake up, or and they ain't going to have nothing. Okay? And we've seen this play out in history before multiple times.
Hold on. To be fair, like you say, we just seen it play out with the farmers.
Like, what do you mean?
When the farmers voted for Trump, and then as soon as he got in, he did them dirty. They started committing suicide and selling land.
You've seen it a million times, right? And then, so my boy, hold on. Let's play this clip. I want to get everybody's to your point. Yeah. Let's get to the Marshawn clip, and then we'll circle back, okay?
That's what's up. Yes, sir.
I have no doubt in my mind that the map's going to pass. If y'all can give us less than 0 seats, you would do it. Y'all do this under the orders of somebody that said the Civil Rights Act was harmful to white people, that it caused reverse racism. RFK said that black children are overfilled on antidepressants and that they need to be reparented on different farms, all of them. Pete Hegseth constantly brings Doug Wilson to the Pentagon to give a prayer service. Doug Wilson is the same pastor that said that slave owners were on strong spiritual ground. I don't have no belief in no morality on anybody that followed Donald Trump. If you wasn't with this map, you wouldn't be underneath this president. You wouldn't be in your party. You would stand up. You would stand against it. You would speak out about it. So as far as I'm concerned, if you here as one of these Trump Republicans, you already showed us who you are. You showed us what you want to do. And I believe the country as a whole is rebuking your party. Y'all are in a death spiral. That's why y'all have to redistrict. That's why y'all have to cheat. That's why Trump got to go to Texas and say he entitled to 5 more seats. It's because y'all know what y'all doing is abhorrent. We letting our people die in Iran based on false pretense that Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent said ain't real. Y'all okay with all that. So I'm positive y'all gonna be okay with the maps. But the beautiful thing is, the children that y'all have made and the people that's younger than y'all don't support none of this racism that y'all want. The MAGA party is the last breath of the Confederacy, and I'll be happy to see millennials and Gen Z bury y'all. There will be no more of your party. The midterm's gonna come, y'all gonna get wiped out. Trump gonna get dragged out of the White House, and I'm gonna love every second of it. Because y'all loved every second of the suffering that he caused to everybody in this country. And worldwide, we starve in Cuba. We bomb Nigeria. We holding Zimbabwe and Zambia hostage for their minerals. We don't want to give them aid support. The pro-lifers that say all life is special, y'all letting kids die of AIDS. What part of your Bible say that? Point out the scripture. I think everybody would love to see it. And we would love to see y'all in the midterms.
What's your thoughts, bro?
Oh, well, you know what? Here's the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have some degree of respect for the fact that the hoods is off. The hoods is off. It's in our, we know what's going on. It's some of this stuff used to be done in clandestine kind of approaches.
So when you
and
saying the hood, you're talking about the Klan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's wide open. So, but I'm telling you this, you and your boy that was just on the screen, what y'all gonna say after the midterms? What y'all gonna say? America has made their choice. Y'all, it sounds like sour grapes. America has made their choice. This is who we are. This is what we about. And y'all like, wait till my big brother come back, and then he gonna come down there and beat y'all up. And the big brother gonna come and get his ass whooped. Now what? Who else in the family? So I'm not putting my faith in these midterms. They've shown me who they are. People have voted them in roaring support, even against their own best interest. Even when they knew the plan was always out there. The one thing that brother's not, the one thing, I'm sorry, that was about to be a stupid statement. I'm about to say he wasn't a liar. He's brazenly incompetent. Okay? He does not try to, Trump.
Oh, okay.
Trump does not try to shield in any good stretch his level of incompetence. But the fact is, we know who we're dealing with and the people that support him. We don't, as much as we hear about him and pointing to him and his people, I can't name a plethora of his people who are supposed to be educated and forward-thinking American people projecting the image of land of the free, home of the brave. They're not doing this, and we're not calling them to the carpet. Now, Chrissy Nome got fired. Me and you had that before, where I was like, bro, she ain't gonna make it because she ended up getting fired, and then Pam Bondi got fired. But it's a slow roll. Your man, I'm about to hit your button now, Pete Hegseth, the the Secretary of War, man, ain't no qualifications, no nothing, and he's constantly costing us money and saying the craziest things, but nobody is ever saying, you couldn't do this at your job, I couldn't do it at my job, not because we black, just because jobs usually require a level of competency. Jobs usually require a level of limited liability. Jobs usually require you to represent them accordingly. This, bro, we here now. I don't see it changing, and these midterms, I'm telling you, is going to let a lot of people down.
Well, here's the thing, though, bro. So you just said a lot. You went all over the place, right?
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out which I jump in at, right?
Okay.
But I get it. Okay, so what your point of view is, okay, is that America chose Trump. They chose this. Nothing's going to change in the midterms. We shouldn't be, pointing to that, blah, 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 blah. Right? That's your thing. And then because it's not going to happen, we're going to have a big letdown, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And you said America has chosen, right? So here's the thing. See, I don't believe that. See, I definitely don't believe that. I believe America was asleep at the switch. All right. They were what's that word? Apathetic. Okay. They wasn't motivated. Okay, because you just got finished saying, even the farmers said, yeah, let's bring them in. And then they got stabbed in the back. All right. And then the more that's going on, this dude with the ballroom and saying he ain't worried about the Americans' affordability and he cares and he's starting war. I totally disagree. I think, see, here's the thing, man. I just totally disagree. Right now, if to your point, if that happens, then you can forget about it.
Yes,
all right?
Kiss the baby.
Then we all might be looking to move somewhere, right? But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, people have hope that people are going to wake up. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's use this as an example. Okay, my man Marshawn, the dude who just spoke in the clip. Okay, is he a senator?
No.
Is he a congressman?
No.
Is he a state rep? Okay. Is he a dog catcher? Right? No.
Right.
I mean, we don't know what his job is, but he ain't got no government. So he's a regular citizen that's speaking out. When did you see? So that's the point here. When you start having regular people All right, waking up. I sent you that song by Rage Against the Machine. Did you listen?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I did.
What did it say? Wake up.
did.
What did he say? He said when Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X was for the have-nots. Then came the shot. All right, that's just a fact, right? So my point is, when you have citizens waking up and speaking fact. Now, somebody could say, well, back before Trump ran, we had people going to their thing and they were mad too and they were going off. They wasn't speaking facts. They were speaking fear. Big difference. Okay? Huge difference. All right? And my boy just sent me this clip. I'm so mad that I didn't have enough time to put it on it. But he sent me, I'm going to share this to everybody, right? And he made a great point how you create cults. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Juicy, you listening, you watching, because the bottom line, I wish I could just upload it right now and show you, but it's an excellent point. It's what's been done before. Cult leaders get people because they don't want them to think. All right. So what do? They say certain phrases over and over again. So those people can use those phrases when people start throwing stuff at them that they got to think. Right? So if I start saying, look, what's one? I ain't gonna even tell you the phrase. As a matter of fact, this should be a test to the audience. Give me the 4 phrases. What's the 4 phrases you hear Trump say over and over again that now, when you throw facts at his people, they throw those phrases right back at you? You know what? Come on, Chris. I know you know one of the phrases.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know.
I'm going to help. I'll give you the first one.
Okay.
First one. Fake news.
All
right?
Okay.
Fake news. Right? So every time you throw some facts.
Right.
Or you throw data at them, instead of them, trying to, look it up or this and that, they become overwhelmed. So they just, it's fake news.
Right.
All right? So think about it. So my point I'm trying to make is, bro, I got more hope, and I think most people have more hope that people going to wake up. I think people are waking up, and I think there will be a difference. If people wasn't waking up, they wouldn't be redrawing the maps. They wouldn't be doing what they're doing right now. If they thought we got this sold up, we're going to do this, we got to worry about them, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing right now. Let's get some of the people in here. Let's get some of the people in here.
I want that.
So we got Hollow Point saying, I love it, not all the hoods are off. Only the ones that needed to be let their mullets breathe, right? Exactly. Because there's still hoods on, all right? There's definitely still hoods on. Let's go back to what Sal was saying here. Sal says, this is off the second point, limiting the influences surrounding area. Delusion versus representation. Civil rights groups and minority advocates have challenged, let me bring this back up again, have challenged these maps in courts, arguing that diluting the voting power of Black Americans violate the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Absolutely. That's what it's being done to. Okay? That's a fact. Right? And then who is this? Sal says this again. Trump cheating y'all, period. This administration is racist, and this is so wrong. Totally agree with you, Sal. And then what we have right here, is this still Salio? Yeah. And then Sal says, right now it's looking like Democrats will win House of Representatives. The Senate is up for grabs, saying Republicans probably win the Senate, making it a divided Congress, meaning Trump will be limited in power. All right. And that's why people say in the midterms. All right. Because when somebody has all branches of government, they can do what they want to do, to your point. Okay. Then they can sit back and talk the shit you talk about. This is legal. We can do what we want to do. Blah, 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 blah. Hold on, your boy Brills. What's up, Brills? He says, is Reed saying we need to be quiet after a loss or be louder to educate? Is that what he said?
No, what I'm saying is this. So after a loss, so we lost.
We lost, right? Or be louder
or be louder to educate.
Yeah.
I don't listen. The education part, I think this is a dummy mission. Y'all sitting up there saying, "Give us free, give us free, give us free." That is stupid. Okay, they done showed y'all what time it is. Damn. Man, Grand Verbalizers know what time it is more than y'all acting like y'all don't understand. They are on this. This is happening. And back to Sal's point, you going to the courts trying to challenge something that they know exists is like going to the Slave Masters Commission as an abolitionist. They're going to say no, they're not going to appeal nothing. They made the determination. The government that's in place is the government that they wanted. So you go into these courts and these federal judges, there's a couple federal judges that make determinations, right? And guess what the administration, like you said, this administration does? They said, give back this tariff money. They said, do this, do that. Man, they don't care about these. They doing what they want to do. It's straight up gangster. And when y'all don't understand how gangsters operate. That's the problem.
No.
Okay.
And so you got to recognize Giuliani, when he was the mayor of, he was a prosecutor, he was U.S. Attorney General, right? Yep. They came up with RICO, and they were able to get the gangsters, right? And saying this conspiracy, and he's just having a conversation. So the RICO for the people is voting. That's why you hear about the midterms. Supreme Court can't stop people voting. All right. They can try to say you can carve this up or you can do this or do that, but they can't stop people getting out from their beds and going out and vote. That's where the power is, okay, to be fair. So that's why you hear about the midterms. That's why you hear, because that's where things can change.
Tone, these people didn't put themselves in these seats. Why are you acting like voting didn't already happen? Damn, you miseducating the people. No, voting already occurred. The ink is dry.
Buddy, see, again, you didn't listen to what I said. I said, at the end of the day, people will sleep at the switch. There were 20 million people who voted in 2020 that didn't vote in 2024. Okay, so stop. What are you talking about? Okay, they would sleep at the switch. Okay, they was apathetic. They're like, well, I ain't voting. Why? Blah blah blah. They wasn't excited about Kamala Harris. They wasn't excited about Trump, so they didn't vote. Okay, that's just a fact. And then his supporters came out and voted. That's how he won. Just be fair here. Okay. He didn't win in 2020. Okay, but 20 million people didn't vote. And then let's be fair. The states that he won Michigan with what, 15,000 votes? Some shit. So it wasn't even, so my point is, that could have been overturned just from people just going out to just vote. Okay, so that's what they're trying to energize them, because that's the power. And again, I said this earlier, if it was a landslide, if it was already a done deal and they got it, why would they still try to gerrymander districts in black neighborhoods? That tells you right there. The brother just told you. If you thought you had so much power, why you got to cheat? Okay?
Yeah. Hey,
who is this? What's up, Tony?
It's the Patriots way.
Hold on. Okay. He said, what's up, Tony? The only way to fight a gangster is to get gangstery.
Listen. First of all, put the knives away. These people have nuclear, right? Put the knives away. The fact is this. We've seen one of in my lifetime, easily, the greatest decline in
morality,
the nation's stability. Absolutely. In the couth of the United States. Like, we've seen it.
That's fair. Yeah,
you're right.
Yep.
The part that bothers me is I've seen the absorption and the absorption of it and the allowance of it from people that I used to have respect for, from positions and titles. Let me not say people specifically. Positions and titles that I used to have respect for. The fact is this, and I don't want to make it a corporate situation, but the idea that so many unqualified people were allowed to be appointed by qualified people. This didn't just start with a level of significantly unqualified people that were qualified and voted in, secured these nominations, and allowed for these buffoons to get behind the wheel without a license. And now we're here. I don't believe that they have a strategy to lose. The reason why this fortification is occurring is because they realize, damn, it worked. So now let's do everything we can to keep the gravy train rolling, because they making money hand over fist.
Buddy. So here's the thing, though. So you're wait a minute. The 1.8 billion that's now is going to get paid to the people that attacked. All right, they can claim that they were over prosecuted and now they can get paid. I don't even want to go there. We'll do that next week, right? Because that's a whole nother thing, right? Here's the thing, though, bro. Here's the thing. Fuck, you just made me lose my train of thought. All right, because I was going to go.
He was on the track.
So here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. Real quick. At the end of the day, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. It's a strategy. See, everybody's saying Trump, 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 Trump. Trump is a puppet. Okay? He ain't smart enough to do all this shit. He's got people, Stephen Miller, he's got people behind. They're the ones pulling the strings. Okay? Let's be fair. Okay? And so that's really the key here. Okay. Second, going back to your point, yeah, they're unqualified because the only qualification they needed to have was loyalty.
That's right.
Okay. So as long as they're loyal, because guess what? When he first came in the office and he brought some people in that was qualified and they were smart. And then as soon as they saw the type of dirt he wanted to do, they were like, oh, hell no, you can't do that.
He started getting impeached a lot. Yeah, he started getting impeached a lot.
Get rid of them. You can't have them. You can't have them, right? So I'd rather have some dumbasses that's going to let me do what I want to do and they're going to be loyal to me. That's the key. That's the key. Okay? So when you got that, that means you can do dirt. You can do your whole 9 yards. So people see right through that, man. They see right through it, right? People ain't stupid. Yes. Is there a group of people that's lost? They're gone? Was it lost in space and shit? Warning, warning.
Right. Will Robinson.
The robots and shit start doing this shit. Yeah. They lost. They're gone. I told you, they're cult-like. Because if you can't point out. Now, I've seen people, and you've probably seen them, who said it. I voted for this dude, and I must have been a dumbass to do it, right? Because, that's what the point I was going to bring up. You were saying, because they thought that Trump was going to stick to what you said, the president of peace last week, right? They thought that if he got in, as long as he took care of the economy and this and that, then everything would go hunky-dory, okay? That ain't happened because he didn't even have a plan to do it. It was all BS in the first place, okay? So none of that, all the stuff that he was talking about, he was going to do this, none of that's come to pass, right? So even his own people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, we can name them all, that's like turning coats and going off and blah, 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 because at the end of the day, they saw what time. I'm shocked they didn't see this before, but when they ain't making money, when they losing their own health care,
they weren't getting their cut.
You know, when the family's making the money, they ain't getting a damn thing. All right, but he wants loyalty, right? But the sons, you got crypto Trump, and there was somebody just the other day saying the dude is doing stock maneuvers on companies that they're making policy on, right? You said that's what it's all about. That's gangster. They're just making money. All right. How do you sue your own agency for $10 billion? All right. And then your own agency or the media networks, ABC and CBS sued and then, buddy, just ranking in, just bringing in the money. And then the IRS says, not only are we going to give him the money, but then we're going to stop the audits on his taxes. I mean, so what does that tell you? This is straight gangster. Straight gangster. Okay? Straight. All right? So that's why people are talking about the midterm.
But here's the situation. I want to tell y'all, as we get into this and as we bring this, land the plane, the concept of I hate to see y'all emotionally when these midterms turn out like these other terms did, because I don't think people have the wherewithal. First of all, the Democrats have done a horrible job of giving suitable alternatives. They've done a horrible job of marketing or positioning who should be in place and who's going to lead us, or who's going to lead the country on that side of the aisle. So therefore, it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't know at this point. You get what I'm saying? And then they mudsling so many of their own. My boy hit me up today and was like, man, I see the commercial where I'm in Texas, right? And my man, his whole campaign thing on the TV is his MAGA Steve. He called himself MAGA Steve, and we was talking about we growing up with gangsters, and you had like GD Mike and GD Paul. And this MAGA Steve, he was like, I vote for Trump 99% of the time. I'm MAGA Steve. And that, for whatever reason, regardless of the writing on the wall and the facts, we talked about this. We always talk about this. When you get emotionally involved and sucked in and you said it enough times, and now involved or enveloped in the cult, the facts don't necessarily matter anymore. The reality, the repercussions, though, like you said, it doesn't matter until it directly affects you. And the trickle down, regardless of gas gas, plane tickets. Ain't nobody going on summer break. Ain't nobody going on summer vacation. It's too expensive. You got to make real decisions to drive somewhere now. You know what I'm saying? So the concept of us being in a situation where we see the writing on the wall, everything that he said he was going to do, that was major. We talked about the eggs a year ago. We talked about the peace a year ago. All of that stuff, it was like we was playing opposites. Like whatever he said, we went the exact opposite purposefully. It wasn't accidentally. It wasn't a oops. It wasn't a COVID. It wasn't it. We got ourselves involved in financial situations and war situations. We was threatening Canada. We threatened Mexico. Anybody, like we got up there and really drew the weapons and was like, anybody can get it. We're gonna come kidnap your president and bring him over here with his woman. And if you say something, we'll come kidnap your president too. Like, come on, fam. It was bad enough. I thought we had hit a low when he put out the Paris Accords for climate with the first term, right? I was like, ooh, that's a bold statement. Shame on me. And so I'm not falling for this again, Tony, to think it can't get worse. Every time you and I, we had a conversation months ago where we was like, we could talk about this every week. We could talk about this every day. And every day we was having a hard time saying, it keeps getting worse every day. It's almost like a comedy of errors. And the fact is this, the difference between a comedy and a tragedy is who you're rooting for. And I believe people are not rooting in the right interest of the United States of America at this point in time, because this is tragic and we're acting like it's not what it is. You aren't, I'm not, but the majority of people, based off of what I've seen, they're choosing from a voting perspective. But we'll see who is right, you or I, at the midterms.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, bro. So, and I can't say. So I definitely agree with you on the Democrats, right? But I don't think. See, and Hollow Point put up here. Yeah, it's hard to decide if you want to vote for dumb or dumber. See, I don't think it's hard to decide how can you get any dumber than Trump? I mean, to me, see that when you even think that way, that right there got me scared, because the bottom line is that it should. So my point I'm trying to make is the bottom line is, I think, and I could be totally wrong. We'll see, right? We'll see. But at the end of the day, I think that it ain't about a Democrat thing, even though it'll go that way. I think people just gonna vote just because they don't want these people in. Okay, I really do, man. I really do. I think because when you at some point there has to be a reckoning. Okay, at some point it's got. Now, to your point, if there's no reckoning now, then forget about it.
like Bismarck said, your heart gonna go down south.
He'll do this, he'll do that, and you might as well just start saying King Trump.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have an executioner in the hand of the king. I don't see that. That, in my opinion, I do not see that. I do not. I flat out, I do not see it. I see shit going in landslide, in droves, flat out. So, because if it was, Chris, if that was the case, if this was already sewn up, why are they still trying to mess with districts? Why are they doing this now? See, bro, I'm just trying to tell you, these guys are going. They're pulling out all
criminals.
the stops.
You're trying to make genius criminal. Every criminal is not a genius. You ever watch the first 48? You ever watch the first 48 show? These people are stupid, man. Come on, now tell you tripping when nowhere to unpack. It's a situation where here's the deal. If once they own the gas, they're staying on the gas. The chaos theory is in effect, and they just gonna keep throwing whatever bombs they can for distraction.
I'm not saying, so I get that, right? I get that. But the bottom line is they're doing it because they don't think it's sold up. These guys, and plus, see, this is the one thing that we haven't said, okay, is that history is not on their side, okay? Every president, in terms of the midterms, ends up losing, the control, if they have control. That's just a fact. Okay, that's just because some people disgruntled. They didn't do everything they said they were going to do. Blah 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 blah. Right. So I would be shocked. I think you will. It don't matter. Hold on. It doesn't matter if you don't go vote. Okay. Yeah. So there you can talk all day.
That's true.
You can talk all day, but if you don't go vote, it don't matter.
Yeah. This is an unprecedented time in history.
I think people.
We didn't think a 32-time felon
No,
was
I
going
get that.
to be elected.
I get it. And so
I can run your tape back, Tony. Where you was like, "Oh, we would." There's no way. There's no way.
We can't do nothing. We can't do nothing about the past, right? We only can focus on the future, right?
Okay.
And at the end of the day, I'm telling you flat out, people ain't gonna care about Democrat. They just gonna vote. I'm just telling you, it's gonna be a landslide. Bro, when gas is $6, bananas is $5. I'm sorry, when you start hitting people's pocket, okay, and then you sitting back talking about I want a ballroom, and you just. You just out of touch.
He's trying to kick it.
Just Maria Antoinette all over again, right? I mean, your ass. You just done lost it, right? You starting wars. You caring about trying to get on the Nobel Peace Prize. He went to China and said, "Hey, did you bring any other president to the places like this before?" Right? Like, because this matters to him. Then they brought Putin today. All right, bro. This dude, he's all about himself. He's always been about himself, and that ain't gonna never change. And I think, it is what it is and who we got. But I think in the midterms, it's gonna make a big difference. And to your point, let's be fair. If it doesn't flip, then we in some serious trouble.
Yeah, we in that third, fourth term king type area. But all right, man. Well, definitely appreciate y'all coming in. He said gas and bananas.
gas is bananas.
It's that simple, though.
Yeah.
It's that simple where, once again, I am of the thought process that we are in unprecedented times. And if I allow for myself to let my guard down and have faith or belief or trust in how things are going to play out, because people who I did have faith, belief, and trust in from a representative perspective, not the goons that were appointed. I'm talking about the people that were previously elected. They were elected to represent us, the Commonwealth. And once again, that doesn't mean I need all black folks in there. I need people who are Americans, thinking about American values with American sentiments. Unfortunately, if they are doing that, it's not the America I'm familiar with.
Right. Here's the thing before we close. Because we didn't get a chance to play the other clip, but I want to bring up something because I don't think people and the doctor has said it in that clip, right? And I'm going to have the numbers wrong, so look it up. But I believe we talked about it. There was some representation of black congressmen and stuff to that nature after the Civil War from 1880 something to, like I said, to the early 1900s. And then that went to zero. Okay. And then she has all the facts, but she said by, what was it? 2000 and I forget what it was, 10, 12. Finally, there were 13%.
That's right.
Of representation of black people in Congress that matched the percentage of black people in the country. Okay. And now it's going backwards. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make here, man. She made it. We didn't bring it up, but she broke it down. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. This ain't no happenstance. This is on purpose that they're doing this.
Yeah, and the point they're trying to make is America great again. Because it was better for them when they looked to the left and looked to the right and seen themselves. And unfortunately, if we don't exercise the vote, then we are going to be in a situation where we have no one to blame but ourselves. And I don't like the victim shame, but this is where we are at this. So we'll reconvene. The midterms is going to be a hot button for us. We want y'all to come and tell us what y'all hearing, what y'all thinking. It's not going to be a civil war. Somebody put civil war on.
No. South says everything Trump ran on is opposite. Way this Americans are fed up and will come out in midterms and vote the Republicans out of Congress. People mad, civil war. Right?
Yeah.
And then I don't see that. And then Brill says, Sam Cooke said a change is going to come.
Yeah, okay. You could do a whole lot of slow singing and flower bringing, but this ain't where we at. But hey, listen, we appreciate everybody coming in and chatting with us tonight. Want to thank y'all for putting in your comments. Obviously, if you're watching this on a recording, put your comments in there. Tell us what you think. We can circle this back because this is a hot topic. We didn't even get through all of the jewels we had to give y'all this evening. We didn't even make it that, but we definitely want to make sure that we support the interest and keep the conversations going, no matter how uncomfortable or how much we align or dissent in these conversations. This is what we feel like y'all need, and this is what we wanted to bring to you this week.
Absolutely, guys. And look, We're going to keep it tight because we're over. You guys follow all our shows. You check out BEP wherever we are. You know where we are. Monday through Friday, we're dropping episodes. Follow us, subscribe. Help us out here. We're trying to expand, reach more people. So on your way out, please hit the like button. Please provide a comment. It's going to help us grow the show.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Until next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you then.
Take care.